Picture this. You're spring cleaning the dresser and you find an old note in your husband's sock drawer. It's been folded so many times the paper feels like tissue. Written in 8th grade handwriting, it says, "No one will ever love you." That's the instant the bully who haunted him in middle school unpacked his bags and moved into your marriage 22 years later. Those words never stayed in the past. They become the default program. He can land a 6-figure deal and still feel like the kid nobody picked for dodgeball. If you've watched him wave away a promotion, flinch at a compliment, or jump when you laugh too loudly, you're seeing an old bruise get pressed again. A simple thing like playground cruelty rewires a guy's brain to think, "I'm inherently unlikable," and how that silent script quietly torpedoes the relationship you're both trying to save. Most guys file bullying under ancient history. They shrug it off and say, kids were kids. But the brain is the worst librarian. It never forgets. Each rejection lights up the same circuits as a stubbed toe, and the alarms stack up. There's a cumulative effect over time. They're called flashbacks. Now, fast forward to now. His amygdala, that little walnut-sized part of your brain, well, his amygdala is an overcaffeinated smoke detector, and it screams danger a lot. For example, when you tease him about mismatched socks or about him taking too long to text you back, amygdala says danger. He isn't seeing you in the moment. He's watching a highlight reel of every time he was the last one picked for dodgeball. Inside his head lives a tiny editor with a big red marker. Every sentence he speaks, crossed out. Every action he takes, annotated, not good enough. On loop in his head, he hears, "They're laughing at you again. She's disappointed in you again. You'll never measure up." These aren't passing thoughts. They're carved in, hardwired. And since man up is still the unofficial motto, he rarely talks to you about this past trauma. Instead, he goes quiet, pulls longer hours at the office, or fires at you at the first perceived insult to keep shame at arm's length. To you, his disappearing act looks like he doesn't care. You've probably tried to compliment him on occasion. You've probably tried to show some appreciation for what he does. Those words of appreciation, those compliments, ricocheted off a wall of evidence labeled, "I'm ugly, I'm weird, I'm unlovable." Praise clashes with the internal story, and the brain likes tidy stories more than it likes happiness. So he rejects the praise or the compliments to keep his narrative neat. And you end up feeling shut out, and he stays stuck proving, "See, I told you, even she doesn't like me." Did you know that brain scans show social rejection activates the dorsal anterior cingulate, the same spot that throbs when you slam your finger in a door? Years of rejection thicken the prefrontal cortex's self-monitoring circuits. The guy becomes a human error detector. Now you add testosterone's talent for locking down emotional vocabulary, and you've got a spouse who feels pain, yet labels it irritability. The wound isn't weakness. It's biology playing defense. So, as the NT wife, what can you do? First rule, don't wrestle the inner critic. Saying to him, "Oh, that's ridiculous. You're an amazing guy," just pits you against the bodyguard trying to keep him safe. Get curious instead. When he winces, ask, "What did that feel like?" Your calm question tells his nervous system that the war is over, the battle between the two of you. Second, drop micro attunements. A hand on the shoulder when he's staring at the rug, or a soft message coming from you saying, "I'm still here for you," after he snaps. Super important. Third, invite, never shove. For example, try saying, "I've noticed you go quiet when I praise you. No rush, but I'm here when you're ready." Seed planted, no bulldozers. Decades of shame doesn't just clock out after one heartfelt talk. Therapy helps. Psychotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, or whatever gives the inner critic a name and a chair to sit in. But keep stacking new evidence that he's a good person. Every time he risks being vulnerable and you stay steady, his brain files a new note. Maybe I'm not intolerable. Think of it as upgrading the operating system patch by patch. He's been on the receiving end of disapproval much of his life. And the bully's last punch wasn't the bruise. It was the story that followed. You'll always be unlovable. At some level, you're defective and flawed. You're weird. You're odd. You'll never measure up. But stories are just stories. Every time you, as the NT wife, answer with curiosity instead of correction, every time you witness his wobble without flinching, you slide him a new pen to write a new story. And slowly, the man who once folded that cruel note into a tiny square begins to unfold it sees it for what it is, just paper, and writes a fresh line. I was never broken. I was hurt. And healing is possible together with my wife. Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you. Hey guys, this is Mark. Click on the join button underneath any of my videos, then click on members only videos, and then click on join. And for $9.99 a month, you'll have access to members only videos, which are excerpts from previous workshops I've conducted for NT partners, ASD partners, and the neurodiverse couple. New videos will be uploaded weekly.